Tell me if this sounds familiar. You want to build muscle, but somewhere in the back of your mind you think it is mainly about looking better, getting attention, filling out a shirt, looking good on the beach, and yeah, that is part of it. But here is what nobody tells you. While you are focused on how muscle looks on the outside, it is doing something far more important on the inside. Something that has nothing to do with attraction and everything to do with how long you actually live. Most people walking around right now are losing muscle every single year and have absolutely no idea. And that loss is quietly setting them up for diabetes, bone fractures, chronic pain, and an early death. We are talking about the difference between a body that slowly breaks down from the inside and a guy with so much muscle his metabolism forgot what a rest day was and his body just kept burning. You do not need muscle like that. But you also cannot keep treating it like something you build just to look good in photos, because muscle is not just tissue, it is the most powerful protective system your body has. And most people are letting it disappear without even noticing. Section 1. Muscle is a metabolic engine. Most people think muscle matters because it makes you look strong. Here is what actually matters. Muscle is the most metabolically active tissue in your body. That means it burns calories even when you are doing absolutely nothing. Sitting, sleeping, watching television. Every pound of muscle you carry burns calories around the clock just to maintain itself. Fat does not do that. Fat just sits there. This is why two people can eat the same food, live the same lifestyle, and one gains weight while the other stays lean. The difference is almost always muscle mass. More muscle means a faster metabolism, less fat storage, and a healthier body with less effort. Section 2. The diabetes connection. Here is a fact most people have never heard. Muscle is the primary site of glucose disposal in your body. Glucose, the sugar from the food you eat, needs somewhere to go after it enters your bloodstream. The number one place it goes is your muscle tissue. When muscle mass is low, that system breaks down. Glucose has nowhere to go. It stays in the bloodstream. Insulin has to work harder and harder to clear it. Over time, the body stops responding to insulin properly. That is called insulin resistance, the direct precursor to type 2 diabetes. Studies show that people with higher muscle mass have significantly lower rates of type 2 diabetes, not because of diet alone, but because their muscle tissue is doing its job properly. Building muscle is one of the most powerful things you can do to protect yourself from one of the most common diseases in the world. Section 3. What happens after 30? Here's the part nobody warns you about. After the age of 30, your body starts losing muscle naturally. The process is called sarcopenia, and it happens to everyone who does not actively fight it. On average, people lose between 3 and 5% of their muscle mass every decade after 30. By the time most people reach 60 or 70, they have lost so much muscle that simple everyday tasks become genuinely difficult. Getting up from a chair, climbing stairs, carrying shopping bags. And it gets worse. The less muscle you have, the harder it becomes to maintain what is left. The weaker you get, the less active you become. The less active you become, the faster you lose muscle. It is a cycle that ends in frailty, falls, fractures, and loss of independence. The only way to stop it is to build as much muscle as possible now and maintain it for the rest of your life. Section 4. Bone density and injury prevention. Here is something most people do not know. Muscle and bone are directly connected. When muscle contracts, it pulls on bone. That mechanical stress stimulates the bone to grow denser and stronger. This is why resistance training is one of the most effective ways to prevent osteoporosis, the condition where bones become thin, brittle, and fracture easily. And here is the lesser-known part. Muscle acts as physical armor around your joints. Strong muscles absorb impact and distribute load before it reaches the joint surface. Weak muscles leave joints exposed to forces they cannot handle. This is why muscle loss is directly linked to increased rates of arthritis, joint pain, and injury in older adults. Building muscle now is an investment in a body that does not break down every time life gets physical. Section 5. Muscle and longevity. Here is the fact that should make everything click. Muscle mass is one of the strongest predictors of how long you are going to live. A landmark study found that people with higher muscle mass in middle age had significantly lower rates of death from all causes. Not just heart disease, not just diabetes, but everything. Researchers now refer to muscle mass as a longevity organ. Not just tissue, not just something that makes you look good. An organ, like your heart and your lungs, that plays a critical role in keeping you alive. The people who live the longest and stay the most independent into old age are not the ones who dieted the hardest. They are the ones who kept their muscle. So what does building muscle actually look like? Progressive overload, gradually increasing weight over time, is the single most important principle. Compound movements first. Squats, deadlifts, rows, presses, because they build the most muscle in the least time. Protein consistently around 1 gram per pound of body weight every day, and consistency over intensity. Showing up 3 to 4 times a week for years beats going all out for a month and burning out. Every session you skip is not just a missed workout, it is a missed opportunity to protect your metabolism, your blood sugar, your bones, your joints, and your life. Train for function, train for longevity, train like it matters. Because it does. Drop a comment if this changed how you think about building muscle. Subscribe for more. See you in the next one. Till then, stay strong.